Hey, Dr. John Finn here. Welcome to the Habit Mechanic podcast. Right now, you can get my new best-selling book, Train Your Brain for the AI Revolution, at tougherminds.co.uk. The digital book, audiobook, and physical book are all available at a special price that you won't find anywhere else.
In this short podcast, Dr. John Finn shares powerful insights and practical advice taken from the Habit Mechanic book. Check out the links in the podcast description to get your free paperback copy of The Habit Mechanic, or finish the book in 90 minutes with the Lazy Guide. You can also book a free 15-minute coaching session and join the Habit Mechanic University.
Hey, Dr. John Finn here. Excitingly, you may have seen that we are now training people to become certified habit mechanics. We've created a high-performance one-to-one coaching program to show people exactly how to do this. And the triple lock guarantee we offer as part of that program is that we will help you unlock 480 hours of productivity in just 30 days. We'll show you how to use the Habit Mechanic toolkit to do that. And we'll show you how to use what I call the 7 super habit systems. I know some people don't believe that they can do that, so I want to show you exactly why you can. So let's just start with where we're currently at. I think the psychological sciences are about 70 years behind the physiological sciences, in the sense of since before World War II, physiologically we've been able to look inside the human body in quite a lot of detail, even measure things like gas exchange, like oxygen going in and carbon dioxide coming out. You see people hooked up to those gas monitors on the treadmills. We've been able to do that since before World War II. We've only been able to look inside human brains for about 20-25 years now. And the human brain is the most complex thing in the known universe. And this is why the current approaches that we're using for coaching, for therapy, for psychology support, they don't work. They're broken. Because they're based on an understanding that if you can get people to know what they need to do to be at their best, they'll be able to do it. Everything from CBT onwards, that's its focus. It gives you some more knowledge and some more skills. But it doesn't understand that the brain is a dynamic biological system that changes in accordance with what it practices. And that's why we don't do what we know we should do. We do what we practice doing. So just because we know and might agree it's a good idea to walk 10,000 steps a day, eat 5 portions of fruit and vegetables, get a good night's sleep, not worry, not beat ourselves up, be focused and productive, communicate with people in a positive way, it doesn't mean we do those things. Because we do what we're in the habit of doing. And the reason we do what we're in the habit of doing is because our brain's number one operating rule, and this is the unique advantage of the Habit Mechanic approach, is we do use first principle insights from neuroscience and behavioural science to help us to understand, well, how do brains actually work? And what does that mean we need to do to help people to do better? That's why the Habit Mechanic approach is different. The neuroscience shows us that the brain's number one operating rule is to save energy. And that makes a lot of sense because we live as a species. We've been around for over 300,000 years, and for most of our existence, energy has been a scarce resource. So we have evolved to conserve energy, and turning things into automatic or semi-automatic processes, which is what habits are, is the most energy efficient way to think and do. And it's really important to understand that thinking is a habit. So when I say don't think of a white elephant, that's a habit, right? Because it's already in your mind. That's how automatic the brain is. And we can get this down to a number now. From big compelling sets of data, we understand that for every 50 processes running in the brain, and there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of processes running in your brain right now, but for every 50, we understand that at least 49 of those processes are automatic or semi-automatic. In other words, they're a habit. And often, all of the processes are automatic. You know, people saying, well, I couldn't think clearly. I wasn't thinking, right? Because most of the time we're not, because we're just running on autopilot. And what we understand is that some of these automatic ways of thinking and doing are helping us to be at our best, Like, we might have a really good sleep habits. We might have a really good focus and productivity habits, but equally we might have some destructive habits. We might be really good at beating ourselves up and worrying too much or procrastinating. And the way we like to think about this is that every 24-hour period is like a barcode. And there are blue lines in the barcode and there are red lines. And the blue lines represent our helpful habits and what we might call our super habits. This is times in the 24-hour period where we're doing and thinking things that are helping us to be at our best. That includes good quality sleep, eating well, being focused and productive, managing stress well, being a great leader. The red lines represent our unhelpful or destructive habits. These are times in the day when we're thinking and doing things that are stopping us being at our best. That includes poor quality sleep, worrying too much, beating ourselves up, procrastinating, not being a great leader. And when we think about the things that we think and do, it can feel quite intangible. And we've been doing this for over 20 years now. We've worked with over 20,000 people. And we found the most tangible way to think about these things is to put a time on it. To think about how much time are we wasting with these red lines. And what we've seen is people are on a continuum, as you might expect. These numbers are per month. So we see some people have so many red lines that they are losing, and this isn't just any old time. This is what we call high charge, high impact, focused, productive work time. We see some people are losing over 80 hours of high impact work time per month because they're procrastinating, they're worrying, they're beating themselves up, their basic habits are not helping them to get their brain working well in the first place. And we see on the other end of the continuum, even people that say, well, I'm nailing it, I do a lot of this stuff already. We see that they're still losing about 20 hours of high impact work per month. And when you add that up over the year, that is an awful lot of wasted time. Again, this is not any old time. This is high impact time. This is what the people that help the world leading business experts would call $500 time. These are the hours in the day where you do your best work that is so valuable. AI can't do this work. It's a human thing. But we're just losing so much of it because the world is getting more and more difficult and it's getting easier and easier to build these red lines. So that's why we created our 3-step habit mechanics system, but which doesn't only consider the neuroscience of how brains work, it also considers the behavioral science and all the factors we need to activate to help us to build new habits so that we can get rid of more of these red lines and build more blue lines. But what we're trying to do to help people to stop wasting all that precious productive time is we're trying to get them to build a brain state profile that looks like this. So let me explain this. We think of the brain as being a bit like a battery in the sense of it's only got so much charge in every 24-hour period. I mean, our brain literally runs on electricity, so it is very much like a battery. And we imagine that the brain has 3 core states. It has a recharge state, it has a medium charge state, and it has a high charge state. So the recharge state is sleep, but also non-sleep things could be some forms of exercise, eating, relaxing. The medium charge brain state is where we do our fairly mindless, habitual work, where we don't really have to think too much about it. It might be answering an easy email. It might be making a cup of coffee, stuff that we don't have to think too much about. And the high charge brain state is where we're doing our focused, clever, problem solving, high impact, supercharged, productive work. And what we've seen is that when people are really nailing it, when they become habit mechanics, they have this type of profile. And you can put some numbers on this. So in a 24-hour period, to achieve this profile, you're going to have to spend about 10, 11, 12 hours properly recharging, maybe about 8 to 9 hours in medium charge. And that then frees up the ability to spend about 5 hours every working day in these high charge, high impact brain states. The reality is most people are nowhere near this. They're multitasking. They're just jumbling their brain states together. When they think they're recharging, they're actually in medium charge because they're scrolling, getting overly excited and overly stressed by social media, as an example. When they think they're doing high charge, they're doing medium charge because they're trying to multitask. They're switching from one thing to another thing to another thing. The opposite of multitasking is single tasking, and that's the key to activating this profile. And because people are doing this, they end up having a brain state profile that looks like this. So it's more like a diamond shape rather than a triangle. And what happens is they just spend far too much time in the medium charge brain state because they're not getting enough recharge, and therefore they can't activate that precious high charge resource. And the challenge with this is that there are a few challenges. One is this is a recipe for being unhealthy, unhappy, and underperforming. But also, because generative AI is getting so powerful, it's actually getting better, and I'd say it's already better at humans than doing a lot of the medium charge work that we've previously had to do. So if you want to have a stellar career and you want to get paid what you're worth and get the rewards that you're capable of getting, you need to learn how to get this brain state profile so you can consistently get into these high charge brain states. So you're saying, yeah, John, but what about that number of 480 hours? So how do we get there? Well, this is what we've learned. So if you times 40 additional hours per month by 12, that's 480 hours. And that's what we see. When people get a better understanding of how to become a habit mechanic, of how to use the 7 super habit systems to help them to activate and sustain this pyramid triangle style brain state management profile, then they're able to do, on average, I'd say an extra 40 hours of high impact work across the year. But you can learn how to do that within 30 days. We've seen that time and time again. So I hope that's given you a better understanding of what I mean by unlocking 480 hours of productivity in just 30 days. I'm going to be talking more about this, and I'm going to explain the 7 super habit systems that allow you to unlock this profile. But if you are interested in getting expert support, one-to-one coaching that actually makes a difference, that gives you tangible results, and remember we have a triple lock guarantee where we guarantee outcomes here, so money back, £500 in cash and free support until you do if we don't get you to where we promise we'll get you to. So if you want to work with us, we believe we have the best coaching offer that's available on the market. So get in contact. You don't necessarily have to become a certified habit mechanic. There are other options available. So I hope that's helped you understand why life is difficult, why we're wasting so much of our precious high charge brain state time, but that there is something you can do about it. And even if you haven't read all of the Habit Mechanic book, or even if you haven't started reading it, you can still use this system. So I hope that's helpful. If you want to learn more, book a free call, and I hope to speak to you soon. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Habit Mechanic podcast. If you liked it, please subscribe and tell someone else about one of the ideas or insights that you found most interesting.